Hello and welcome to a brand new series here on the Sim Broadcasts Twitch and YouTube channels, the Fragmasters GTI Thursday series, the 2022 season, round number 1 with the XFG at Aston Club. I'm Peter Butcher and I'm joined tonight by a very special guest. It's Zdravko Topolnjak, who is going to tell you a little bit about the series and why we've chosen to broadcast it for you this year. Welcome, Zdravko.
Good evening, everyone. Hello, Pete. Yeah, as a Fragmaster team member, I'm very happy that we are broadcasting this series. I think it's a lot of fun. It's racing with a bit slower cars, GTI class in LFS, so that's probably two of the more slower cars in LFS. It's a lot of close racing, a lot of nice fights, close field with mostly big grids. Almost every race should have like 40 cars for the start, and the cars themselves, because they are a bit slower and they don't have aerodynamics, they really lend themselves to close racing.
Yeah, it's one of the classes in LFS that's absolutely notorious for clean racing, and tonight we're at a track that lends itself well to that sort of thing. It's only got 2 real corners on it. It's Aston Club, 3.1 kilometres, 1.9 miles, and tonight's a bit different, Zdravko. Maybe you can explain why there are 2 races and not just one.
Yeah, January for Fragmaster GTI is a month of masters. That basically means that we have 4 races where the track pick is from the top 3 of the last year's championship, and last track pick is from the last winner of the race in 2021. So for today we will have Aston Club with XFG car, and we will have 2 races. First race is the starting grid is determined by the qualifying session. And the second race, the starting grid will be top 15 finisher of the first race reversed.
Excellent stuff. So plenty to look forward to. 2 18-lap races, which should take us to the end of today, grinning from ear to ear at Aston Club. A great combo and a great car. We have the XFG tonight, the demo car, the oldest car in the sim, in fact. Pretty sure that's correct. 1.3 litre inline 4 front engine, front wheel drive, 115 horsepower beast that weighs 1 ton. Now, before we head to the qualifying session, we do have a few cars who've already set laps in the one-shot qualifying session. I want to bring your attention to the way that this championship finished last year. It was TJ, in fact, who won with 2,028 points. Unite second always in every series he competes in, apparently. Also second in FM GTI Thursday with 1,410 points. Look at the gap there, Zdravko, between TJ and Unite. Is TJ looking to repeat that success this year?
I think that considering last year, as the year went on, Unite was stronger and stronger, especially with XRG. And I don't know, TJ is a double champion in GTI and also double champion in Fox for Fragmaster, so he's really fast and really consistent. I mean that his results are like probably over 90% in top 3 places, so he's a hard guy to beat, but it's not impossible. We have some very fast drivers like Unite and Jermola, and you never know if JDB or maybe Gabor race more, they can definitely win it.
Brilliant. Well, hopefully we see more than just one person winning, but yeah, a close season would be great. Let's have a look at the teams championship. Now that's a bit more wide open because it was Born to Race who won with 3,774 points and Road Appraiser in second. A lot of teams compete in this championship. Obviously, it's one of the most popular series in Live the Speed. One of the reasons why we're very grateful to be broadcasting it. But enough chit-chat, Zdravko. Let's get to the track and see who is doing what in qualifying. We've had 9 qualifiers so far for tonight's action.
Yeah, I'd like to first take time to explain how the qualifying works. So every driver is required to join voice chat in Fragmaster's Discord server. and the whole race is hosted by Fragmaster's Fresh. He's calling drivers one by one out on the track on the voice chat, and he's trying to keep the track full, but at the same time allow everyone to have a clean lap, and everyone can do one out lap where they can heat up their tires, then do a hot lap, and then they have to spectate, so they don't have to drive to the pits on the in lap. So at this time we have 5 or 6 cars on the track depending on how everything goes, so it should go quite fast, but still everybody gets to set a lap time that is a clean lap time, not obstructed by traffic and not obstructed by drafting somebody.
Yeah, so the time at the top of your screen, the 3-hour timer that's up there, is not actually the length of qualifying. Do not panic. We're just going to go until all of the cars have set their timed laps. Rick98 just went on pole position as Zdravko with that lap and then decided to bin it into the pit wall.
Yeah, let's see what TJ does now, because he is the guy going across the finish line as he puts his car on the pole.
Yeah, 1 minute 21.6. So yeah, again, a 0.2 of a second advantage over his teammate. Will anyone else get close to that, do you think, Zdravko?
Well, I think we have some good candidates. I would set my eyes on from AA team on Fnatic and Renault Kutz. Those two drivers are probably the best shot at a pole at this time. As we look at Everiza going through the middle of the lap chicane.
Yeah, this is a pretty gentle introduction to the GTI Thursday 2022 calendar. This is a popular track with the GTI cars because a lot of it comes down to just the braking for the two hairpins. Essentially, here's the second hairpin. Ali Reza, sticking to the middle of the road. That's not really. Is that the way you want to take that corner, Zdravko, or do you want to take a wider line in there generally?
I think that it's not only one line that works in that turn. On one side, you might some drivers prefer to keep the distance low, and some drivers prefer to maybe go a bit around but keep the speed up. And in these cars, keeping the speed up is not a bad way to drive. So you can do it like tight, and you can do it a bit wider, but having higher speed. Everything works, and in the race, it will be interesting because other people will have other tactics. And it will depend if they are defending or fighting for a pass on the straight.
Yeah, so plenty of cars out on the track so far. We've had 18 lap times in, and there's a whole queue of cars waiting to get in. Zdravko, there's a system for cars who drop out of the top 40 to allow other cars to enter, so we might end up with more than 40 cars on our timing tower here.
Yeah, everything depends if there is somebody waiting outside of the server. So if that will be the case, when people start to drop out of top 40, so at the moment on the last positions we have two MRC drivers, Konex and Perzimkov. So if they drop out of top 40, they will be asked politely to leave the server and make space for other drivers. So the qualify might be a bit longer than it looks at the moment. We never know how many drivers are on the outside. We still have some kind of time limit. We don't want for the qualifying to run 2 hours. I think that the maximum of drivers we had to try a lap in qualifying was 56. So that meant we had like 10 more drivers come into the server once the qualifying started.
That is quite an amount of cars. I don't think I've heard about any car, any more cars than that ever in a in a session, especially for pickup series. Renault Kutz, final corner. Zdravko, you said he might be quick. He might be on a good lap. He might be able to put a good lap together, rather. Let's see what he can manage as he heads on to start-finish.
His nameplate says Wizard. Let's see what magic he came out with.
See if it's a good lap
Looks
time.
Fast.
Yeah, it is. It's
pole. It is fast. Oh, this will make a fun race now.
Good
and
stuff.
we still have fast drivers in the field.
Yeah, we've still got more than half of the qualifiers to go. Well, more than half of the qualifiers to set a lap. That lap time was 0.4 of a second off the world record, and we know how quick the world records around here are.
Yeah, the field is I would say it's in good shape, but also because you have 40 drivers driving, it's a multitude of drivers with their speed and skill, so everybody can find somebody to race, even if you're not the fastest driver in the game.
P8 for Rayman there for Born to Race, who are looking to take the team's championship again. Here comes Twin Cam. Start finish.
Let's see what does he do.
He might be starting a lap.
Did you see his nameplate?
I did not. 20th. What does it say? I'll have to read it later.
Hi, Pete.
Oh, hello.
Did it slow him down?
Oh,
20th
probably.
is not a best place to be. But I would say that time should be safe enough.
Here's someone we've not seen for a while. I don't know if you've used him for a while, but Aerox for Genuine Racing, starting a lap.
You know that this name makes me confused because I don't remember the number 3 in the name.
Yeah, I think it's always been there. So coming up to the first chicane, this is a properly tricky. It's just one driver, I think. Just a properly tricky chicane. In any car, actually, doesn't matter if you've got downforce or not. This chicane is always difficult. Difficult flat corners. Aerox not happy with his lap, I don't think, so far. Blasting the horn as he goes over the sector time.
Yeah, his sector 1 is 4/10 off. TJ said the fastest sector 1 at the moment. But at the moment, field for like top 4 cars, they're a bit ahead, but then it gets really close from the P6 onward, from P7 onward. It's like 2/10 might make 10 positions difference.
Yeah, I mean we're looking at the times on the board here as Aerox goes P12 with that. 4th to 21st is covered by a second. Sorry, half a second, and the whole field pretty much down to P21 by a second and a bit. So really, really tight at the moment. Here's Donny. He's coming up to finish a lap. See what he can manage.
I wonder if Donny will manage to continue with his upward path this year. I think from the start of 2021 to the end, he was really improved.
Possibly won't be happy with 25th there, but we will see. A long evening, 2 races, 18 laps around here. Anything can happen.
Well, maybe a good strategy for some that get worse race is to try and be around P15. Maybe if you can't win, maybe a P15 will be a good place to be because you will start on pole on the second race.
Yeah, some cars might choose to sandbag towards the end of race 1, which is always something you've got to pay attention to during a reverse grid race, especially when there's so many cars that are reversed. 15 cars is a lot, so...
So I see that Yermola set a very good split one time. I think he's only slower than Renault Kuts and TJ. Let's see how he goes through the last turn.
Could this be a top 3? It's a bit of a wide line now.
Maybe, yeah. He took a wide line into the turn, but that means that he might carry more speed for the straight. He's taking a tight line, closest. And it's P3.
Yeah, there we go. Splits the road appraiser drivers. So there we go. Second row start just now for him. Here's Magic, actually, for race green, going on to a lap. I wonder where he's going to go. I don't see any race screen names on the timing tower so far this session, so he is the first.
Yeah, Magic. Magic is only one in the server, and it should be said that Magic, even though it's Fragmaster titled series, Magic is the person that does the most for these FMGTI Thursdays.
Well, there we are then. Tip of the hat to Magic as he weaves his
Yeah.
tyres.
Fingers crossed for a pole with 2 seconds ahead of everybody else. Not subjective at all.
Yeah, breaking the world record on a PB hot lap. Let's see what Piotr Unio does as he comes across the line to start a lap, in fact. And yeah, we're getting towards the end of the names now. 34 times on the board. But here come the Sidus guys. Of course, the drivers are brought out in alphabetical order, depending on the name they choose for the session. So that's why we see the team names, drivers in the same team coming out around about the same time. Road Appraiser will be out pretty much at the beginning every week. Sidus will be out somewhere near the back end of the field.
Yeah. I think that only on certain races at Oval we change where we start with less people in the list and go upwards, because on Oval it can be a hindrance if you start qualifying among the last guys. And that's obviously because times are close and positions are based on when you set the lap.
Piotr Unio coming up to the line to actually finish a lap this time. Let's see where he goes. Not a name I'm familiar with, so we'll see. 36 times on the board. Where will he go? 32nd with that. Here comes Magic.
Is it a world record?
World record says number. And it is, in fact, not the world record. It is 15th for Magic so far. So a solid mid-grid. It's a nice place to be.
Good effort.
Botsy's coming to the hairpins.
Yeah, let's see what Botsy does. He had a good sector one, but not as good at top 3. So maybe somewhere in top 10. It's really hard to call because the field is so close. And he goes 7th.
Yeah, good attempt there. But yeah, look how tight the field is now. Coots has got a bit of a run, but yeah, we're top 20 within 9/10 of a second of each other. And P1 to 26 now within a second.
There was actually a race last year. I think it was SO6, where top 40 was in 1 second.
Was it a very, very short track, or was it?
SO6.
Okay, that's
So Unite is finishing. Oh, he goes 26th.
Wow.
I think Unite is going for second race.
I think so. That's a safe bet. That's two disappointing qualifying sessions on the bounce, I think it's fair to say. RTFR on Tuesday didn't go his way. Didn't enjoy the car, the Shark C mod. The XFG is one of his stronger cars, I'd have to say. XRG maybe slightly stronger of him, but Talvidas 27th with that attempt. Here comes Vinat to start a lap.
Some people might go a bit strategic because at Fragmaster we always count also the high climber. We give points for high climber, so there are some situations where a fast driver qualifies kinda in the back, then tries to regain positions in the race to gain more points.
Do we have any more cars on track? That's the question. I don't think we do.
I think
Uh-huh.
that's it.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that brings to a close our qualifying session, and the drivers now have 6 minutes to warm up before the start of two 18-lap races here this evening. And it will be Renault Coots on pole position for that one. So yeah, we're going to take a very quick break, and we'll be back for the start of the two races here for round one of Fragmasters GTI Thursday 2022 at Aston Club in just a few moments' time. See you shortly. Welcome back to Fragmaster's GTI Thursday Series 2022, round 1 in the GTI class at Aston Club. We're using the XFG today, and let's run through those qualifying results very quickly to see what the grid is going to be like as we get going for the start of the first round of the year. I'm very excited. Zdravko, I'm guessing you are too. It was Renault Koots who got pole position, a 121.53. TJ, last year's champion, in second place, 10th and a bit behind. Then we had John Marlowe, Rick 98, Owner 136 miles per hour, Botsy, Koivunen, Fnatic, and Mantis rounding out the top 10. Zdravko, we're going to have 2 races this evening, and it's going to be frantic down to turn 1.
Yeah, I think it will be interesting, but these races are generally clean. Now that I said it, I know what would happen.
Yeah, you've jinxed it now, so we're not going to get a
generally they are clean. The race will start in 10 seconds or something like that. So let's hope for a clean turn 1, and after that it will be interesting to see how it happens. I wouldn't want to bet on anyone.
Well, you've set a precedent there, and we're going to see exactly what's going to happen because the cars are on the grid, and the stage is set for the first round of the year of a new series for us, and I'm excited to get going. Not long to wait for the lights. Renault Koots alongside Road Appraiser Racing's TJ, John Marlowe and Rick 98 sharing the second row. We are green for race number 1, and here we see a stream of 40 XFGs thundering towards the hairpin.
Yeah, TJ goes immediately into draft, and Jarmolo just follows him. So let's see. As Rick goes on the outside of Jarmolo, TJ will probably try it in turn 1. Koots defends the inside. TJ goes for the outside. Oh, that's close. Koots defends it.
Good defence in turn 1, and generally quite a clean turn 1. We've got a few cars wheel banging 3 wide out of the hairpin, but as we head towards the first chicane, it is Renault Koots who leads ahead of TJ. And we're going to have a race on our hands here. We have 2 drivers, who qualified very, very close to each other. Already breaking away a little bit. We've got 4 wide in the background. That's Botsy on the outside, which will become the inside. Oi.
As TJ is going for an attack in the last turn, he takes the wide line, Koots takes the tight line. So this probably means TJ will have better speed in straight. Let's see if he manages to get into draft zone.
Yeah, this is already concluding 1 of 18 laps. It's a very, very short lap here at AS2. We've got side-by-side action further behind. We've got, who is that? We've got Rick 98 with John Marlowe. We've got a few cars pitting for their mandatory pit stop already. 136 is next to Botsy, and Botsy is going to have to defend from Rayman, who's going to go through the middle of those 2. People want to race cars one side as car. Oh, Botsy's in the better place. He's on the inside. They will make it cleanly through the corner. But yeah, the cars are really starting to bunch up behind, so this is going to be a scrum as they head into the chicane. The highest placed Fragmaster car, Fatal there in P14, looking at the rear of all these cars going through the chicane. He's going to have to pick his moment though. Oh, yeah. Who's that going wide and into the tyres almost? It's Mantis.
We had Aerox go really wide from the chicane. He passed it sideways, lost 3 positions. Yeah, for now biggest gainer is Onur. He went from P5 to P3.
DJ again with a good exit, but not good enough. Is he going to pit? No, he's just going to... He's not even taking the slipstream, Zdravko. Why would he not do that? Why would he not sit in the slipstream?
I think he noticed on lap 1 that Koots has better straight line speed and he loses the slipstream anyway. It looks like TJ is faster on the second sector in the chicane, so it probably means that he's running lower pressures in the tires.
Interesting. John Marlowe there losing out of place. He has the fastest laps as John Marlowe, but he's currently battling with Rick 98 in that wonderful deep blue Road Appraiser livery as we head on to lap number 3 now. tucking into the slipstream now. Will we see a slipstream overtake into the second chicane? Probably, given how close Rick is here. He's even lifting.
So we have Aerox and Euriza going side by side into the chicane. Aerox lifts. But let's see on the exit, he might get a better line, and he does, as Euriza goes a bit wide. So this would be too wide through this few fast turns.
There we go, we got him.
He got him for now. Let's see if Euriza tries to send one on the outside for the last turn. He closes up, but doesn't go for it.
Now he's too far back.
That's some quality racing.
Nice stuff. And as Renault Coots comes across start finish, he now has an 1 second gap now actually over TJ. He is opening up that gap. João Marlowe's still scrapping with Rick 98 as we've got Unite in the pit lane. So he's decided that he hasn't made enough progress. He's jumped in the pit lane down to 27th so far.
Well, a lot of times drivers that get stuck in the traffic decide to pit to get some free air, as Rick 98 has a message for all XFG fans.
Albedas and Texas side by side, and there's going to be some contact. Yes, there is. That's Texas going into the tyres now. Twin cam goes through. Oh, and who's that behind? He just jumped up. That was Kig.
That was Kig.
Very opportunistic.
Some other guys going through.
Kamikaze as well.
Rocket is going through also. Yeah, and they're still side by side.
So they've lost a whole ton of positions, but they're still fighting hard.
Yeah.
Now that's Zabel's behind. And
Davidas.
Oh goodness me.
He sends one.
Yeah.
And he will get a worse exit now. But this would just get everybody else interested. And now they have 3 cars behind them. Texas has slipstream. But these are not aerodynamic cars, so the slipstream is not as powerful as in some other cars. He goes for the inside. He will have the inside for turn 1. Nice view. Pazenko just sees 4 cars fighting. Might be a good chance to grab some positions.
Yeah, taking the wide line in, that's a smart move. It means you can
get a better exit, yeah.
Yeah. And then as all these cars have to file into single file, you can kind of close the gap. So if you wanted to close the gap up to the back of Zabel's, his teammate, better line certainly. So if he gets a better exit, this is a done deal. You can cut to the inside and get that overtake done. So yeah, nicely done. Let's see if you can make it down the straight.
As we see ahead, Petronio passing both Texas and Tauridas. Yeah.
Nicely done.
So these guys need to think about how they fight, because at the moment they're just losing places and not really going forward.
Oh, there's a lot of big lunges happening. Yeah, it worked actually. Talpidas there with a big send. Texas demoted. Further up, we've got some action.
Texas
we have Fnatic
pits.
And side by side. Yeah, I mean Texas had to get out of that. Texas had to get out of that. He'd lost enough places. It's time to pit and get that over with. Fnatic side by side with Rick 98. This is for 5th position. And that's Jamalo just disappearing off the right-hand side of the screen.
Oh, Rick has a better exit, but I think he will think better of it. Yeah, I don't want to force too wide in the chicane.
Notice looking ahead that Renault Coots is not even in the shot, really. There he is just ahead in the very, very far distance. He has opened up a 1.7 second gap now. As Rick 98, is he going to think better of it? Is he going to wait or is he going to go for it? He's going to wait, I think. Yeah, he's going to wait.
Yeah, he lifted. He lifted a bit. So to me, it looks like TJ has problems with tires because his rears are hotter than Kutz.
Yeah, the drivers use very, very low tyre pressures in the XFGs, and the GTIs generally, you wouldn't think that tyre temperature would be much of a problem with low-powered cars. But if you want to be quick, you have to run, the perfect tire pressure, and that often means going lower. So they do tend to make their front tires, the XFGs, very hot in short races like this. Side by side again between Rick and Fnatic.
But
Yeah,
Rick takes the outside now. I'm not sure if that is the smartest move.
Well, he's already cleared him, so let's see if yeah. Fnatic
But he goes a bit wide.
Yeah, wide.
He goes a bit wide. But I think the higher exit speed will help him take the position. But he has worst line into the chicane. He will lose the place now. Yeah.
Oh, but Fnatic lifted, so he wants to get the draft elsewhere. This is letting Botsy close back up again, all the while.
I think Fnatic had to lift. He would hit Rick a bit, because Rick just slid in front of his car. But still, draft is here, and chances he will try to make a move on the start-finish straight.
As will Botsy. Sidus Botsy, notorious for being a plucky racer, normally right out at the front in these sorts of cars, but having to, dice around at the back of the top 10 at the moment, the P7, and utilising the draft off the back of that air attack car. Fnatic still side by side with Book 98 across the line onto lap 8, so we're nearly halfway through.
I did not know that Botsy is an Englishman or Aussie. He's driving on the wrong side of the car.
Yeah, he'll be driving there to make the weight distribution better for this combo. It's all right-handers pretty much, so there's more weight on the right-hand wheels, which gives you better grip. Some people think that that's just witchcraft, but it's not. The changing sides with the driver is, it is expensive in real life, but in Live for Speed and sim racing, of course, if you can, you should put the weight on the inside wheels. As we have a battle here between Strutter, Elvis Presley, and we have a crash. In fact, I think that's the first big accident we've seen all day.
Yeah, it looked like a bit of a lag, because Presley got spun around a lot stronger than it should have been with that touch.
Yeah, back to my earlier point about the side of the car. Yeah, it's a slam dunk here, where it's basically an oval with some chicanes in it. You should put the driver on the right hand side. Get the weight on the wheels that need more grip.
I agree with you. I just wonder how hard it is for drivers to drive like that.
I used to do that when I was driving in Live for Speed. I would always change the side, and I'd always use interior cam, of course, because of VR. And yeah, after a while, you get used to it. You get used to changing pretty often.
I mean, I change it also.
Yeah.
But I'm a dirty noob and I drive chase view.
Don't use interior cam. We've got some fighting going on down. We've got Pedro BR and Luke going side by side. Luke in the green XFG there on the outside for turn 1. Pedro BR on the inside for Master Race Car. Keeps the position for now. Let's have a look at our leader, race leader, Renault Coots, driving for Air Attack. He is leading TJ, this man, by 2.6 seconds currently, which is pretty remarkable. However, Zdravko, there is a reversed top 15 for race 2, which is going to make these guys very unhappy, starting basically mid-grid and having to do everything again. So, what's that going to be like for TJ and Renault? Is that going to be fun for them, or are they just going to hate that?
Well, I think it will be fun. It's always fun to race, and as we are witnessing, it's clean racing.
Very.
So I think it will be fun. It's not very fun to drive all the time alone at the front. So this way, guys like Kurtz and TJ get both slices. They can drive 18 laps alone at the front, and then they can struggle for their dear life for 18 laps.
Yeah, the GTI racing is as much a game of chess as it is a game of wrestling. You have to be very careful about what you do when you're driving on your own, and as soon as you're in a wheel-to-wheel battle, you know you're going to be in a wheel-to-wheel battle for around a track like AS2, Aston Club, that we're racing today, you're going to be in that battle for a while, because once you've got the slipstream of the car ahead and they've got your slipstream, you're glued together basically, Zdravko, aren't you? It's very much a pack racing series, a pack racing car.
Yeah, well, it's not easy to pace. It's easy to follow, but it's not easy to pace because everybody is fast enough, and our speed is not big, and it can make people follow closely if a guy ahead is a bit slower, but not slower enough to be passed easily. I was just checking a bit at positions, and the first guy that already pitted is P19 Fragmaster Fatal. So his position will get a lot higher once everybody pits.
Yeah, the leaders still haven't made their pit stops, and they've only got 7 laps to do it.
Yeah, most of the time, if you have clean air, it's just best to stay in the clean air. But if you're struggling in traffic, like Texas was before, then it's smart to pit.
Further down, we've got Elvis and Young side by side as they head into turn 1. This is the best opportunity, really, to overtake cleanly around here. The track's plenty wide enough. It's not a particularly complicated chicane, and if you get it right, it's job done. Onto the next one, and it looks like Presley has kept that position for now. He heads up to chicane number 1. Such a quick lap here, but it is extremely technical. It might look simple, but this is not a simple track. This chicane here there's no camber on it, so you have to be pinpoint accurate. Otherwise, you're going to slide off into this huge tyre wall or hit one of the tyre barriers in the chicane itself. Very, very difficult. This chicane here is a bit trivial, straightforward, flat out. If you're side by side with someone, definitely the opposite story. And then one of the most difficult and kind of random braking zones in Live for Speed, the AS2 second hairpin here. There's so many different lines into it, Zdravko, and it's tactical because you have to pick your position if you're in a battle, because this straight is very, very long.
Yeah, well, and the braking zone itself is... these cars are helped a bit because the brakes are not that hard, but in some other cars, you're locking the tires just as you would have to brake as hard as you can, because there are some bumps in the track and it's a hard braking zone, and you want to have a good exit, and it's a bit of a compromise turn. You have to find a fine line between giving away time on the brakes and trying to snatch away time on the straights.
Yeah, Owner's currently occupying the 3rd step on the podium for this race. This could change after the pit stops, of course. The pit stops does add an element of randomness to this, of course, and also emphasizing how important a pit stop is in racing. Let's have a look at Fatal.
Yeah, Fatal just passed Zabelis, and those passes are important for him because he pitted. So he is in a fight with slower cars that have not pitted, and he can't afford to lose time. Because at the moment, it looks to me he might be around Raymond Koivunen positions. So that's top 10, edge of top 10 once everybody pits.
Yeah, it'd be very interesting to see. He's not going to come out near Renault Coots. Renault Coots will be out ahead, but the leaders, I'm guessing, will pit as late as possible so that they avoid traffic. Renault will probably pit on lap 17 and come out in the lead again.
Yeah, I think that the positions that will be interesting to see are P3, P4, P5, P6, and then basically onwards from there, because everybody is kind of close. As Yarmola goes wide on the last turn, let's see if he tries to pit.
No pitting.
Yeah, if you make a mistake on the last turn and you lose the speed, it's good to pit, in my opinion, because then you don't lose all the time on the straights. Yeah, Yarmola lost almost 4 tenths this lap.
Yeah, on the contrary, though, with 4 laps to go, you've got a lot of traffic, and you don't know where you're going to come out, and you might lose more time by battling. So, like I said, it's chess. It's a hard decision, and it's not an easy one. And certain rounds throughout the year, we're going to see, frantic pack racing all race long. And some races are going to be like this, where it's strung out, drawn out. And today it's a drawn out race 1. Race 2, however, that could be a different story as the top 15 are reversed. We're riding on board with Fnatic for air attack, who is one of the drivers who hasn't pitted. Everyone ahead hasn't pitted either. And he has caught up to Yarmalo this lap, Zdravko.
Yeah, Yarmo had a bad turn. But I think that Fnatic is also a bit torn because he has to look his rear mirrors, as we see Botsy is close behind. And I don't know about you, but I wouldn't want to see Botsy close behind me.
Absolutely not. We've said this many a time on some broadcasts that Botsy is not a car you want to see in your rearview mirror. I mean, if you're crossing start-finish at the end of the race, of course you'd love to see him in your rearview. But as he comes up to start-finish, he's got a bit of a toe, I think, on old Fnatic. Fnatic going wide, so obviously trying to drop the slipstream.
And Botsy is not following him, so he will gain some by going tighter lines, but he's still not in attack zone. Oh, that's a strong braking.
Yeah, Botsy is so strong on the brakes. Doesn't matter what car he's in, braking is so important. Obviously, it's half the skill in driving is the brakes, and you can gain and lose so much. Botsy's got that down to a fine art as he uses a bit of trail braking actually to get the car in.
Yeah, it's not flat out.
Yeah,
it's not flat out for Botsy. I would have expected it to be flat out.
Yeah, for sure. See what happens at the front. We're approaching pit stop time. Some of these cars might be tempted to dart for the pit lane and try and get the undercut, but does the undercut really work in GTI Thursday, Zdravko? Have you seen that work many times?
Well, it works if you get clean track.
Yeah.
So that's important. If you pit and then you're stuck in traffic, then it's obviously not gonna work. But if you're, as we see, one of the leaders going into pits, I think it's Raymond. We will see where he gets out. It will be interesting to compare him with Ferro. But yeah, as I was saying, if you're like Botsy now and he gets stuck behind Fnatic, you would want to pit, because you still know by looking at position where Ferro is, he will get out in almost clean traffic, and even if you catch a car ahead of you, he will be slower than Fnatic is at the moment, so it's easier to pass.
Well, Rayman came out in P15 to answer your question.
Right ahead of Fatal.
But quite a way ahead of Fatal, actually.
1 second, yeah.
Yeah. And Fatal is also in a fight of his own. Twin Cam's also having a bit of fun. He's in a pack of 3 here. He's got Presmakov and Pedro Biar following him. Or in fact, that's Zabel, sorry. Pedro Biar some way behind.
Yeah, so the Raymond was first of the guys that pulled the trigger. I think we will start to see more cars now in the pits.
Yeah, for sure. Renault Coots won't be one of them. He will just keep going. So will TJ. Owner is not, but Botsy is going in. He's decided he's going to try the undercut, and so is Rick, as you mentioned. So these guys are not going to do any work. Rick's angle in the pits, that's not great, is it? If you have to drive in and out again, Rick's going to have a car on his another car trying to pit and having to slow down a bit as we go through. Kozzy and Eric's also in. Kozzy leaving the pits now. So all except our top 5 have pitted. Now the top 8. So Pekka Koivunen, 136, and Chameleon have yet to pit as well. And they have just one more opportunity to do it on this lap, Zdravko.
Yeah, and from the drivers at the back, we have Tovidas, Petronio, and Prezimkov yet to pit.
Renault Coots coming to the final hairpin, and he has to go into the pits, so he has to go into the pits now. So we'll see him spear over to the left, and you've got to be careful. This car does not have a pit lane speed limiter, so you can throw it all away. It's all about how these drivers manage that speed going down the pit lane. So Owner will be in as well, so will Jean Marlowe. Fnatic will come in, and so will Pekka Koivunen. So will 136, and so will Chameleon. But let's focus on our race leader. He is stopped for, I don't know, I think that felt like a little bit longer than he needed to, but maybe not. Maybe we just panned to him at the wrong time. He's out. He's in clear air. Owner will be out in third, Yarmalo fifth, and Fnatic in fifth. Yeah, so Owner put fuel in. Interesting. Not sure why he's done that, but he has. He added some fuel, so maybe he slightly underfueled. Maybe a little bit of a splash and dash, as we call it.
So let's see. Bots is gaining on Fnatic. This will be closer than it was, but it's less lap.
Yeah, this is where the panic happens. You've got Botsy behind you, and it's the final lap of the race. But that's a healthy gap. Fnatic doesn't have to worry so much about Yarmalo ahead. Let's focus on who's in the hot seat. It's Presmikov at the moment, P15. P15, remember, for race 2, coming up shortly, is pole position. So currently that's being held by Presmikov.
Yeah, but he didn't pit.
Presmikov, sorry.
So that's
Oh, he didn't pit.
that's a big mistake. He will get disqualified at the end of the race. So it will be MSC Pedro BR, or he gets 30 seconds time penalty.
Wow, very interesting.
I thought that you get disqualified if you don't pit.
Bit of an error there. But Renault Coots, he wins with the fastest lap at the end of the day. Let's see if he can keep it. 4 seconds almost, the gap between him and TJ as they cross the start-finish line. And then it will be Owner and Yarmalo.
So we have a big fight for pit 10 at the end. As they cross the line now, Koivunen goes ahead of Mantis and 136 mph. Oh, that was a close one. See Rocket and Strutter. So what do you think, Pete?
Well, yeah, good start. First race of the year is almost over. We just got some drivers finishing, but yeah, very entertaining, and we've got another awesome race coming up. And I think it's fair to say the second race has the hallmarks of being slightly more interesting than race 1. Is it fair to say, because you've got the top 15 out of order?
Yeah, I'm just checking a bit at the fastest laps, and Twinka, I mean, P14, so he will start second next race. He was only 1/10 slower than TJ on the fastest lap. So maybe he is a good candidate for a win in the race too.
Absolutely. Well, it was Renault Coots who won in 24 minutes 58 seconds. Then it's TJ in P2, Owner P3, Yarmalo P4, Fnatic P5, Botsy, Rickardle, Rayman Fatal, and Koivunen rounding out the top 10. Then we have Mantis, 136 miles an hour, Kozzy, Twincam, and Pedro BR, who will be reversed as we have a disqualification from the results, unless they will reorder the grid. Zdravko, you'll have to find out. But it does look like, because of that disqualification, Pedro BR will indeed be on pole position.
Yep.
Luke P16, Ali Razor P17, Erox in P18, Chameleon P19, Magic in P20. We'll head over to the second page of results and see that it is Kig, Rocket, Strutter, Donny, Genius G, Talvidas, Texas, Gui, Presley, and Piotr Unio rounding out the top 30. Zables, Ben, Young, Davy, Vina, Unite, Prezemkov, Isawurst, and Bumshnasi rounding out the top 39. And yeah, where is our non-finisher? Oh, sorry, our disqualification there. 37th.
He's 37th. 37th. So he got 30 seconds on a result.
Alrighty.
Yeah. So Pedro will start first. What is interesting is that only one car did not finish the race, and everybody finished on the lead lap.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a short track as well, and a shortish race. If this had been a usual GTI Thursday, then we might have seen some lapping happening towards the end. But of course, only the half-an-hour format today, and only a couple of minutes to go before race number 2 of the evening, which will see another 18-lap race around our Aston Club configuration, and the top 15 cars will be reversed, which means we'll have a different pole sitter. And Mr. Renault Coots for Air Attack will have to start in the midst of the pack in P15. It's going to be fun. I can't wait for it. And we've got 2 minutes to go, Zdravko. Yeah, tell us about it. So the Masters, the first 4 races of the year in January are going to be double headers. You're going to have 2 races throughout the evening. Do they get special prizes for this, or what's the deal at the end of the Masters?
Well, only prize they get is they can gloat about it.
Gloating is a good prize. I like gloating.
Yeah, they get a Discord role in the Fragmaster Discord that they are GTI master. Not many drivers have that role, so it's a nice thing to have.
So it's an exclusive club, and if you want to be part of that club, you can, because you can join the GTI Thursday server every week on the Speed and be a part of it. If you want to join the Discord server, the details at the bottom, and also the website at the bottom too for your information. It's a good community to be part of. Plenty of races throughout the week, not just in GTIs, Zdravko. Maybe you can talk us through FM's other interests.
I actually just wanted to add that being a GTI master in Discord grants you access to one special channel. It's supporters chat, and there we kind of propose when we think about new series, what we want to do with existing series. We tell to those guys first, so they can have an input on it.
It's an inside club, club of masters who've proven themselves behind the wheel. Good stuff. So, who are the previous GTI Masters winners?
Well, there is only one possible. There is always only one GTI Master. You can't have more masters than one, and of course, at the moment it's Yarmola.
Yarmola.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he finished 4th this race. At the moment, that's him. So at the end of this month, we will have crowned a new one.
Unless Yarmalo can pick himself up, and then he can get crowned again. Not long to go before race number 2 here. Thanks for joining me, Zdravko. It's been very entertaining having you as part of the commentary action here for your own series. Good stuff. And here we go. Another 18-lap race at Aston Club in the For Speed. We do love this track. It's a crowd favourite for sure. And a favourite of GTI drivers. Let's see how this goes for race 2. We have a new pole sitter, Pedro Biar. Here he is, the master race car, alongside Twin Cam, 136 miles an hour, Kozzy, Mantus, Fatal, Koivunen, Rayman, Botsy, and Rick98 rounding out the top 10. Here come the lights. 4 lights, and we are green for race 2. Another 18-lap thriller, and a staggering amount of cars on the grid again. 39 cars take the start.
Yeah, it looks to be a clean start. Almost everybody is already in a single file, trying to get a draft. Let's see if Twin Cam tries to get a lead on the first turn. He goes for the inside.
Yeah, Pedro has left the door wide open for that.
As Renault Kutz goes on the inside of TJ and Honor, and is already on the inside of Fnatic. Oh, he's not losing any time there.
The parting of the seas is what it's called, and now he's in a traffic jam. He's going to try and he's got Yarmalo just ahead of him on the right. Pekka Koivunen there on the left.
Do you pit at this stage? In traffic. If you're a fast guy like TJ, do you pit?
Absolutely not. I would want to battle it out for a lap or two and then decide to see how many cars you can go. We've got a car off. In fact, who's that?
Fade off?
Yeah. This is going to cause a pinch point here. Oh, contact Yarmalo and Renault. Renault up the inside. In fact, he's gone for it. He's made the move. He's been quite aggressive, but you have to be if you want to make progress.
This would be a 4 wide now.
Cars pitting. Fatal's decided that's enough. He's in the pit lane. He's going to do what you said. Oh, we've got a crash at Pentry. Big crash at Pentry with a few cars. I think one car was trying to go in and the other one wasn't, so there was a bit of a confusion. 3 wide situation here developing between 136 miles an hour, Pedro Biar and Botsy gets to watch it again. He likes to watch these sorts of dramas unfold. We thought we were going to get action at the start of this race, and we have, as Botsy sends it on the inside. Got a 3 wide with Rocket further back as well. Let's try and see if we can get a look at that as they head through turn 1. Oh, goodness me. Car's sideways. It's all going off.
Oh, there was a bit of running going on.
Yeah, we like it.
Yeah. As Renault Kuts is really aggressive. He's fighting strong with Onur and Koivunen. And he's sending the car on the brakes, but they get him on the exits. And it's a lot of cars in a close space there.
Yeah, there's gonna be tears. There's gonna be tears. We're not going to see it, but there are going to be tears in the background, and there's a car spinning. I'm not sure who it was. Was it Ali Reza? I think Koivunen was off. We've got cars spinning all over the place in the background of the shot. Rayman, one of the casualties there, but Renault Coots somehow has managed to stay out of trouble and finds himself up to P8 from P15 in a space of
Yes, Fnatic on his ass now.
Yeah, right behind. As we've got more cars deciding they want to bail to the pit lane. Magic, Donny, and Texas entering pit lane, and Fnatic he's going to go for it on his teammate. Fnatic
he's lifting. He's lifting.
Oh, he's not. He's lifting. Okay, fine.
Yeah. Oh, that's some team play there.
Yeah, he's not going to go for the move either. He's actually just let his teammate go. But someone who isn't going to let it go is Owner, who very, 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 very late on the brakes, closes up to the back of Fnatic, and Fnatic's got to play the rear gunner now. And these guys need to get a move on because we've got 2 Born to Race cars. Twin Cam and Mantis currently leading the way. Twin Cam with a big lead actually over his teammate, and Kozzy in the BMW team trying to get past into P2. Botsy in P4 wants a podium.
I would just like to remind you of my bet where I said that Twin Cam has a good chance to win.
I don't remember this happening.
So Fnatic again is able to follow very close to Kuts, but he's... Oh, that was close with Kuts. He's too good on his brakes.
Yeah, Yamalo's out. Something's happened to Yamalo. We don't have a replay, unfortunately, but he got some damage early on and wasn't happy, so he's left. And will Fnatic go for this? Because he's got Owner behind, or has he? Where's Owner gone? Owner's not had a good hairpin, and yeah, has dropped back. It looks like Fnatic is going for it now. Let's have a look at the front.
As Kossi is attacking Mantis for pit and goes on the outside. That's a nice pass. Let's see if he can stick it. He's a bit wide. Mantis is coming back to him. I think Kossi will have this in the chicane. But if Mantis will stick it on the outside, no, he lifts.
It's a good move.
Let's see if Kossi manages to get a good exit. Oh, Mantis will still be on him. And we have Botsy lurking behind them.
Yeah, Coots is making progress. He's 2 wide in the background, but let's keep an eye on Botsy as we've got a potential change for the podium involving 3 cars here. Born to Race, BMW and Sidus, of course.
Kossi had to lift. Kossi had to lift.
Yeah. Oh, gee. Botsy absolute style points from Botsy there.
Oh, that was Kuts.
Goodness me, it's all going off in GTIs. It's that's something you'd more likely see on Ski Sunday in the UK.
Yeah, so Kossi had to lift, and Botsy did not expect that, and they tangled. Now Botsy has Kuts. Oh my god, the damage on the suspension that Botsy got. There was some absolute airtime from that XFG.
It was a 360 in the air. It's style points for sure. He's not even outside the top 10, Zdravko. He's on a 360 in the air in this race, and he's still in the race. I mean, this is unbelievable. Botsy's going to have this because Owner's just rear-ended Coots, and that's going to let Fnatic through as well. So Botsy, if he can keep that suspension alive, not only is he getting move of the day, might keep his top 10.
I think that Fnatic has to get points for perfect wingman. He got to the side of Kuts and then lifted a bit just to not allow Onur to get near Kuts. And now he's again driving behind Kuts and lifting. I mean, I want him as a teammate now.
Oh, well, there's early season signings going on in the commentary box. Zdravko's got his notepad and pencil out. And Botsy, meanwhile, is beginning to sweat. He hasn't gone over the jump this lap. He has kept all four wheels on the tarmac, but he's under pressure as we've got some cars going very defensive, not going into pit lane, but going defensive. And Fnatic pulls out of the slipstream again, not choosing to bump draft. Is bump drafting allowed in GTI Thursday, or is it very strictly a no-no?
Bump drafting is always banned in FM races.
Very good. I like it. Owner is having a battle with TJ side by side into turn one on the outside for Owner. TJ not going for the move. Owner's going to go deep though, so that's why TJ didn't go for the move. Going to be side by side again, as we've got side by
Honor
side.
will still have it, but maybe TJ will manage to force him on a tighter line in chicane, and that will hurt his exit. Let's see.
TJ had to get on the brakes. Owner on the grass. In
Honor
fact,
goes
too much
wide.
slide.
TJ has to lift, but I think
Slam
he
dunk.
might get it.
Yeah.
As Fnatic is still lifting behind Kutz.
Yeah, that's some dedication to the team play, wanting Renault to get as many points from this race as possible. He knows he can't bump draft him. Look, he's hovering back, but he just doesn't want to pass to hold him up. Yeah, it's Coots. He has to make the move on Botsy himself. Botsy himself is having a fight with 136. And these guys have still got their pit stop to do, and they don't want to be this close when they go into the pit lane. Drama further back as Ali Razor's trying to find his way through Unite and Pedro BR. They're in a battle here. Unite in the lead of this trio at the moment.
As Kutz goes on the side of Botsy, this will depend on 136 MPH where he goes. Oh, Kutz will go on the inside. Does he make a send? Oh.
Big send. He's done well there to keep that.
Yeah, he might even get a place. 136 will not lift, I think. He will not lift. Hit it.
He lifted. Oh well.
Just a tiny lift, just enough.
That
brings Kutz to P5.
Yeah, so 10 places gained. Botsy's having a drive on 136 now, trying to get through as easily as Coots. It's not going to be as easy. There's going to be side-by-side action through this chicane. It is very deceptively difficult to go side-by-side. There you are.
As 136 goes wide.
Yeah, he tripped over the curb. Trying to go side-by-side.
Now we at least know that Botsy knows of alternate route through that part of track.
Absolutely, he's staying well away from that. Prefers the tarmac route. As he's now got Fnatic right behind him.
Do you think Fnatic would lift now behind Botsy?
Absolutely not. Come on, this is silly talk.
This is not the same team now. Yeah, Fnatic absolutely has enough speed to overtake, and he will do so. But he will be on the outside for turn 1, so this is not over yet.
We know how good Botsy is on the brakes, and there he goes again. Has he outbraked himself? A little bit of a lock-up, but he can force Fnatic wide, and he's done a perfect job. He's parked it on the apex, and he's got a good exit, and that will be his position kept for another couple of corners.
Yeah, and he's ahead enough that he can get a better line for chicane. He absolutely surprised Fnatic with his trail braking. The GTI cars have brake lights, so Fnatic saw that Botsy is braking but didn't know how hard, so had to brake harder.
Unite and Topolnjak side by side into the chicane. Topolnjak using that pink livery, and that's Pedro BR there as well. Ali Razor looking on in the background for air attack. Pedro BR goes for the send on Unite, tries to go around the outside. That's not going to work, but that's going to give Ali Razor a nice slipstream as Unite goes to the pits. In
Smart thing to do.
Yeah, getting out of the way of the
He had a bad exit.
Side by side for P number... What P is this? This is number 6.
Yeah.
Side by side again.
Again on the outside for Fnatic, so Botsy will again brake later. Park it on the apex. Yeah. So they do a replay, but now Fnatic is closer. So
yeah,
this will be too wide through the chicane. I don't think Fnatic will lift.
Well, Botsy certainly won't lift and doesn't. Fnatic just braked a lot earlier. That's going to line up 136 miles per hour, potentially for another send, whether he'll go for it. And
Fnatic gets an exit now.
yeah.
As ahead, we have Kutz fighting it. And he passed Kose. And he's on the tail of Rick 98. Already
going for a big send again. So he's trying to make the podium in one lap, and he has. That's a good move. He's going to be side by side with Rick down the straight, but they both got basically the same exit. So it's going to be pretty neutral as they drive up towards turn 1. I wonder if Rick will just move over and get the slipstream at some point. Doesn't look like it.
I'm not sure. What's the plan? Rick will have nicer line through these turns. He will be able to keep higher speed. Kutz has tighter line, but I don't think it will be enough for Rick.
Rick lifted, yeah. So he's going to drop him behind. And is he going to go for the move? No, he's not. So he's just let that place go. And that means that Rene Coutts is back on the podium. That's impressive. Up 12 places.
So Twinkem has 3 seconds ahead of Rene Coutts at a moment. And this is where we will probably see Rene going fastest lap over fastest lap to try and catch.
Yeah, let's have a look. What gaps he got? He's got a gap of about 2 seconds, 3.5 to the lead, and not enough laps. Surely 8 laps. I mean, by the end of the race, his lead over TJ was 4 seconds. Was it?
Oh,
who knows?
A good or bad pit stop can be up to a second difference, especially if you risk it all.
Well, it's a patient game, isn't it? A lap around AS2. You can't gain it all back in one lap. You have to just pick your lines and your braking zones perfectly, and hope that in a few laps' time you'll catch up to whoever's in front of you. There's not really much you can do until you get into the slipstream. Very, very patient game.
TJ is still fighting with Honor, and he's lifting behind him, not trying to attack into turn 1. He had big overspeed, so he could try it. But I guess he wants to try later in the lap, because he definitely has the speed over Honor. He lifts again before chicane. Now gets a better speed out of chicane. Will he lift or go to white? He goes. He lifts.
Oh, he's lifted. He thought better of it, and that's going to cost him actually, because he won't be able to stay as close, will he? No, not too much.
I think he will.
It will compromise him.
Able, yeah.
Let's see. Will he go for the inside? Well, there's a door open, but he hasn't gone
lifts
for it.
Again.
Yeah, so he's going to go for it on the straight, is he? Slightly wider line again. This is an interesting choice of strategy, not one I'd pick. I'd always go for the move, but maybe that's just me. That's why I haven't won GTI Thursday 2 years in a row. Anyway, here we go. TJ goes for the inside now. Or does he? I don't think he's got any run. No, he lifts off again. So he's mistimed this run again.
Yeah, but he has so much over speed. He beeps, but I don't know why.
Just saying hello. Friendly.
That should be a move done. Yeah, great job. I mean, you're not champion for nothing, I guess.
Yeah,
there has to be some skill under that.
Yeah, but fighting for P9 when Rene Coutts has made it up to P3, head scratching going on in the Road Appraiser team.
Yeah, and there's nothing to say that Coutts will stay there. He's closing up to Mantis.
Yeah, it's still a bit of a distant gap, but we know how good Renault is on the brakes as he comes into view. Mantis getting a bit of rubber down on the road there.
Yeah, but did Twinkem had a problem, because Mantis looks closer to Twinkem than it was before?
Slightly, I think. I think the gap's gone down a little bit, but not too much. It wasn't that big in the first place. I think the biggest gain is, of course, Renault Coots, 2.9 seconds now off the lead. And only a second or so off the back of Mantis, as Mantis puts a little bit more, closes the gap to his teammate ahead.
2/10, yeah. So Mantis gained 3/10 last lap. Twincam is probably shaking under pressure. Would be a great way to open up the year for him.
Yeah, this gap is significantly smaller than it was at this point last lap. Mantis a little bit wide through the chicane, the first part of the chicane, and all these tiny little errors will just play into Renault Coots' hands. He'll be able to just gain tiny margins every corner, and that adds up at the end of even a short lap like this. The gap coming down all the time, another 400ths of a second so far. And Renault knows he can gain in the brakes. He can gain massively on the brakes. He's got a tighter line into the hairpin than the two cars ahead of him. And let's see what the gap is at start-finish. Certainly, the gap's gone down again between Mantis and Twincam. So I think Twincam is starting to feel the pressure in the lead.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like it's easy car and easy track, but because it has such long straights and few corners, if you make a mistake in like turn 1 or last turn, you can lose up to half a second.
Yeah, it can really hurt. We've only got 4 laps to go here, and we don't have many. We don't have much pit lane action from the front runners, so it's going to get pretty frantic in a moment. We've got Donny having a fight with Magic. This is for the top 20. Only on the outside.
They both pitted. So I can tell you what will get tasty. Fight for P4, because Koss is on the tail of Rick. Fnatic is closing, and Bots is, as always, looking at the distance different, a bit interested into that.
Yeah, Botsy today, he's been involved in some battles, and then for the rest of the race, he's just been behind fights and has been watching fights and hasn't really been able to get involved in them until the end. And yet again, he's actually watching that. He's watching that battle with Fnatic.
Tries to make it a freeway fight. I think this will definitely be a freeway fight into turn 1.
No one chooses to pit, or do they? No,
Rick,
there we go.
Rick pits. Oh, this might be a smart move. If others lose time fighting.
Well, the gap between Fnatic and Kozzy isn't that big. And it might be big enough that Rick might lose out to Botsy here if he's not careful. Depends where Rick comes out. Will he come out in traffic? Let's have a look.
Smashes a fastest lap, and that's a crazy lap. 1:21:37.
Yeah, that's 0.2 off the world record, or just about, I think. Rick comes out into some clear air, so could be a good move, that.
As we have Strutter wide on turn 1, he spun it. He rejoins just ahead of Rick. Oh, this will hurt Rick.
Yep, you're right.
This will hurt Rick. This just ruined his strategy, because all the time he wanted to gain, he will lose now.
Yeah,
but obviously this is a fair fight because it's not blue flag fight.
Yeah, Rick needed to be a little bit more aggressive. He had the overspeed. I think maybe he'll regret not going for the send before the chicane. Anyway, he's got through. Strutter's got a bit of a wobble on. Might be under attack from his own teammate, Fatal, down into the hairpin. In fact, Fatal does go for it. And there's contact. Always like to see that. I know you don't, Zdravko, but anyway, there we are. 2 Fragmasters cars again.
Oh, that's how we race. And all our last.
Yeah, not even between friends. As Strutter comes into the pits, Rick will hate that. Rick will hate that.
So, TJ was fighting Connor for 10 laps. Then he goes and does a massive lap and basically teleports to 136 mph in a lap. So now we have fight for P4 and P7.
Yeah, and it's about to get pretty spicy because everyone's going to be going into the pit lane. Do you want to be going into the pit lane ahead or behind? Would you rather leave the pits behind your opponent or ahead? I know it sounds like a silly question, but there is method in my question.
Well, I would definitely want to be ahead going into the pits and just pit on the last pit box. So nobody can mess with me then.
Renault's going for the undercut. He's gone into the pit lane a lap early.
Cossi pits also and Fnatic, but Botsy does not.
Yeah, Botsy has everything to gain from this. He may as well stay out. If everyone else around him just decides to pit, he might as well go for it for another lap.
So how much did Rick lose?
Fnatic's had a slow stop, so that's not going to be good for him. He's down to P10 already. In fact, Cozzy's made the jump, has he? Yeah, he has. Cozzy's made the jump.
Rick passes 136 mph. He goes through Fnatic. Yeah.
Yeah. So even though he got held up, this has been a good jump for him so far. He might have Cozzy on the brakes.
But
Will
did Cozzy get a penalty? I think Cozzy got a penalty. Did he speed in pits? Yes. Cozzy got a 32nd time penalty for speeding in pits.
That's a major penalty. That's yeah.
Yeah, because it's a penultimate lap.
Yeah, you can't serve it, can you, in time? Well, no, you can because you still have time to serve a stop go or drive through. We're only on lap 17. You have one extra opportunity to pit. So unsure why that's been upgraded.
I think it's in sim.
Okay.
Setup as it is.
Fair
it's
enough.
not a problem if you don't speed in pits.
Mantis has made a move at the front because hang on, no. So Twincam has resumed. He was in the lead temporarily because they switched positions in the pits. But
Onur
TJ's
had
also
big problems in pits. He went too fast and would stop in the same pit box as TJ, so had to go around him and lost time.
Yeah, Renault's made the jump on Botsy again, but he hasn't got anywhere near. In fact, I think he's lost time, has he? Yeah, has he? We're going to see at the end of the straight, but it looks like he might have even. No, he hasn't.
TJ loses place to Fatal. Fatal
Coots is going
goes
for the
ahead.
move. Sorry for P2. Side by side. It looked like he didn't have as good a run, but he closed up in the end. I think Mantis might have gone a little bit too easy into the first corner, and this is going to get juicy side by side.
This is last lap. It won't be easy.
Mantis is on the brakes at the same time, but he's going to give room. He's gone on the grass, and he's just given the place in the end to Renault Coots. So opting to not get his elbows out in the end. A good stab, but that means Renault Coots is into P2. But Twincam nailed the pit stop, Zdravko. He's nailed it. He's on the way
only
to win.
question is, will Twincam win it in the last turn? So we have a crash in chicane.
Yeah, Pedro BR involved, I'm hearing. We will keep an eye on our leader as he heads up to the start-finish. I haven't seen much of him all race, but it is Twincam who will take home race number 2 for the win. Congrats to him. Renault Coots will come home in P2.
It's a massive job
in the background as Iron Donny has owner right behind him, and that's Magic too.
But that's a Donny train.
Lead home a trail of cars. There we are. Good stuff. So Mantis puts a second B2R car on the podium. Sidus have no podiums today. Botsy finishes in 4th. Rick 98 for Road Appraiser 5th, Fatal P6, then it's Fnatic P7, TJ in 8th with a fastest lap that puts everybody else's laps to shame pretty much this afternoon. 136 miles per hour makes it 3 Born to Race cars in the top 10, and Iron Donny rounds out the top 10. Zdravko, that was very, very entertaining, I have to say.
Well, I think you see why we want to do a Mount of Masters. Second race was crazy. But I hope all the drivers had fun. I know that Kuz definitely had fun. He just sliced through that field.
Well, I had a very fun, entertaining time watching all of these guys drive around Aston Club. And I hope you did too. I certainly enjoyed tonight's action. Let's run down the full finishing order from race number 2. Twin Camper Born to Race wins in 25 minutes, a slightly slower time than the first race. Renault Coots carved through 13 other cars to finish in P2. Mantis P3, rounding out the podium. Botsy, Rick 98, Fatal, Fanatic, TJ 136 miles an hour, and Donny make it our top 10. Then it's Owner, Magic, Unite, Luke, Kig, Chameleon, Tout Vadas, Pekka Koivunen for World Class Lines, Ali Reza, and EA Presley for Air Attack, rounding out the top 20. Over on the second page of results, we have in P21 Ishaverst. Then we have Strutter, Texas, Rocket, Zables, Przemkov, Pedro BR, Piotrowno, Vina, Genius G, Erox, Kozi, Delvey, and Rayman. Of course, Kozi down there because he had that penalty, Zdravko, and I think you were right. It was 30 seconds in the end.
Yeah, he got 30 seconds. He was spinning in the pits. He will be much, much higher. He would be 6th, I think.
That brings to a close what has been, I'm sure you will agree, a fantastic evening of racing in GTI Thursday. And we have had our first taste of what is to come this year in the 12 rounds that we're going to be covering throughout the year here for GTI Thursday. Today was only the XFG, but we hear that the XRG is going to feature at some point. It's going to feature next week and the week after alongside the XFG. And then in 4 weeks' time, I believe it's just the XFG again. So we hope that you enjoy the next 3 rounds of GTI Thursday, because we will be picking up the action at the beginning of February here on the Sim Broadcasts channel for GTI Thursday. Zdravko, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you here alongside me, of course, with your endless knowledge about this series and racecraft itself. You're always an asset in the commentary box, so thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Give me your highlight of the race. I mean, Renault Coots certainly put on a show.
Well, I think it's a Botsy 360 in there.
Yeah, that's a good one. I'm pretty sure there's a clip of that somewhere. If you haven't seen it, check out the clips on the Sim Broadcasts Twitch channel of Botsy doing a 360. I think it was Mandula who grabbed the clip of that one. So go and have a look. It was very entertaining in race 1. Or is it race 2? It was race 2.
Race 2, and amazingly he finished under a second of podium in the end.
There we are. Chris has posted it in the chat for you all. All right, absolutely awesome stuff, and I can't wait to be back. That was round 1 of Fragmaster's GTI Thursday 2022 in the XFG Aston Club in Live for Speed. I've been Peter Butcher. You've had Zdravko Topolnjak in your ear, providing you with the expert analysis of the series, and Chris McElroy in the background, feeding us all the information live. Thank you, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your week. Join us on the channel on Sunday for Master Race Cars BF1 League Season 2. I think I'm going to play the trailer after I've said goodbye to Zdravko. Cheers again, Zdravko. Have a good evening.
Cheers.